Let me position you over here because I interact better this way. Let me position you on this side. Yeah. All right. That might work out a little better for him. Yeah. Welcome to the Will Live Podcast. Yeah, we back in effect and we got some good rest. Absolutely. How you guys doing? How's everybody doing this evening? Let me get my mic situated right the way I like it. Yeah. Check it out. This show, the Impact of White Lies show. Lies alter reality. It's talking about identity. Let me tell you how lies alter reality. First and foremost, the reason why lies alter reality because they shouldn't be told in the first place. Lies can be used as weapons of mass goddamn destruction and power. Think about propaganda and what propaganda can do to you, your family, and everything around you. Check that shit out. But check it out anyway. We're going to get into some book shares tonight. We're going to get into a lot of studies. I'm here with TikTok and I'm here with YouTube. And I'm here on Instagram and Facebook. How you guys doing? Rap with me. We're supposed to go on at about 8:45. I had to go on a little earlier. You get to play the run back and everything like that. So it's all good. Anyway. How you guys doing? Welcome to the Will Live Podcast again, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, we're gonna get into let me get a little music playing first. I got a lot of energy because I got a lot of shit to say tonight about how reality has been altered and people know who are the culprits. But yeah, check it out. Let's get into a little music. You know, I like to play my little jazzy instrumentals and shit. They be cool to me. I love them. So let's get to that. See what we got. See what they got on the menu tonight. I like that. I like that a lot. We're going to fuck with that. We get down with that. Oh, yeah, for sure. Check it out. We back. Yeah, we here. So anyway, first book we're going to be discussing tonight. Let me turn my damn camera around. Let me get y'all right on TikTok. Yeah. Voices of a Black Nation, ladies and gentlemen. Voices of a Black Nation. Yeah, we got some shit to talk about today. Voices of a Black Nation. Oh, yeah. So let me get the music turned down just a tad bit. I want y'all to hear me and hear me clearly and hear me well. Checking my mic. We good here? Let me check my settings real quick. That's correct. Okay, we know the camera good. We know we straight. Just not trying to lose power. You understand what I'm saying? We're trying to be all right. So check it out. Voices of a Black Nation. Let's get to the table of contents. You know how I like to do. I like to let you know what the book actually contains. All right? So here we go. The Emerging New Negro. General Trends and Issues. A Thanksgiving Homily to Revolution. A. Philip Randolph. Chandler Owen. Usurping Black to a Move North. W. Allison Sweeney. A Report from the Tulsa Riot Scene. Calvin Chase. The Burning Alive of John Henry Williams. Washington Eagle. From the lynch mob to the legal lyncher of the courts, Cal Murphy. Restructive Covenants, Julius A. Taylor. The Ku Klux Klan and the Watts, California Eagle. Looking Backward, the Negro in 1931, Keller Miller. The American on Trial, Joseph D. Bibb. Evictions and Rent Strikes, Cyril V. Briggs. The Spirit of the New Negro. The Old Negro goes, let him go in peace. Cyril V. Biggs. The New Negro, Roscoe Journey, The New Negro, Patriotism, William N. Colson. The Integrationalist, Vision, George S. Schuler. The Value of Propaganda, Amy Jaquez Garvey. Let's study that, 73. Let's go to 73 and look at that. Let's take a look at that. The value of propaganda, ladies and gentlemen. The value of propaganda. Amy Jacobs Garvey, Negro World, March 6, 1927. The Association Press reports that Berlin, 5 million will be spent for propaganda this year by the German government. This is a wise move. Accounted perhaps by the bitter expenses of the war in 1914 to 1918, when Germany was defeated mainly by Allied propaganda. The horrible tales of atrocities of Berlin stirred the white world to unify efforts to save civilization from tectonic barbarians, as nothing else could have done. Nothing else could have done. No one stopped to ascertain the truthfulness or source of the stories. Everyone was just high strung on the reason why theirs was. Hold on, check this out. Remember, you hear what this is? No one stopped to ascend the truthfulness or sources of the stories. Everyone was too high strung to reasons why theirs was but to do or die, with the feeling of saving the world for democracy. Sound familiar? Oh shit, here we go. All right, if we could tell you how much England spends yearly for propaganda, many of our readers would be surprised. It is a very large figure, but it should be remembered that England controls her colonies and bluffs the world by reason of her studies and systematic propaganda, disseminating in such a subtle manner that it is digested without the victim being aware of the poisoning. Oh, damn. Check it out. Let me go a little further. Marcus Garvey had been called one of the greatest propagandists of that age. It says this age. Remember, the time frame is 1927 at this point. Again, Marcus Garvey had been called one of the greatest propagandists of his age because he is one of the few men that saw the greatest worth of propaganda in the early 1917, and stated that the use of its efforts to educate black men is to see the necessity of, he says, African nationalism, and to get white men to appreciate the righteousness of his cause. One of his hardest tasks was to get wise Negroes to realize the value of propaganda. To them, is a money waste. To them, it is money wasted because it benefits derived from it is not seen in dollars and cents or bricks and mortar. The Knights of Columbus, a Roman Catholic organization in America, voted 1 million to its convention of propaganda work for the year. For the UNIA, it was done this to howl, to protest, when we have gone from from big Negro of wasting people's money. This would contend that money would be invested in real estate in America, and investment that has no means of protecting against the white Christian mobs and covenant. Any investment would be benefiting Negroes outside of America who would finance the organization. Nor could the tenants pay the rent when recession and depression comes. So they had all these different types of ways to do one thing: deter you, destroy you, and also have every way of trying to annihilate you specifically. Let's read another example. I don't want to read the Bose and Garvey. I don't want to deal with that. I don't like the Bose's attitude, his he had that arrogant, I know it all nature when Marcus Garvey can move entirely more people, specifically. So let's talk about socialist oppression on black nationalism. Check this out. See, this is 1920. This is 100 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. You understand? This is 100 years ago. 100 years ago, the black voices in the black nation, 100 years ago, still valid after 100 years. Come on now. Check it out. Socialist oppression on black nationalism. Black socialists had committed themselves to a coalition with the struggling white left. As the white radical movement declined during the early 1920s, black socialists were left out in the cold. A. Philip Randolph, Chandler Owen, and others of the messenger crowd now had to rely on the black community for support. There, among the masses, Marcus Garvey held sway with his black nationalist Universal Negro Improvement Association. Garvey argued that blacks could never gain ground through coalitions with whites of any type. And Randolph also argued that the times were bad and that the conditions improved. A coalition would bring result of extremely difficult as long as Marcus Garvey held a prominent position. And in 1922, Randolph and Owen thought that their friends, the Negroes, freedoms, and associations made of trade unions and some top NAACP officials investigated a Garvey Must Go campaign. There you go. Propaganda at its motherfucking finest. You understand that? So, Garvey Must Go campaign, which is among other things, helped speed up the U.S. Justice Department to take action on its pending mail fraud investigation against Garvey, and there are his lieutenants as a result, of which was a 5-year jail sentence for Garvey. Randolph and his associates held a long but distributed by the black nationalism of Garvey, and that would seem to them Garvey's self-seeking demagoguery. To Randolph, Garvey's business ventures were unrealistic and declarations of African liberation within the programs that could carry out through the struggle of the UNIA, the Back to Africa movement, which, yeah, it wasn't going to work anyway, because when you try to move that big, you always got somebody that's who. An informant. Somebody's always going to tell. So when you have people, when you got a country like America, which is where you're talking money outweighs morals and ethics, and that is whoever can get on that board first and understand that's who became the wealthy Negroes. Yeah, they wanted to rub shoulders with the whites and every other type of people, even the blacks that came over here from other countries. They were deemed white people, especially East Africans. These are facts. These are why they tell you do not associate with native blacks, because of the fact that you would lose privileges in those. You couldn't open up those doors anymore. See what I'm saying? So it was a dividing that was within, or was it a divide that was literally set upon yourself by what you were taught by your parents? Parents taught they taught their kids to disassociate from blacks and cater and garner to whites for positioning of what we would call authority. This positioning for authority. Positioning for power, positioning to take, positioning to basically have a permanent underclass in America. That's what the indigenous are in all lands. Why do you think the indigenous of other lands come here to be honorary white, to overlay on the indigenous cultures that are here? That's what America was all about. That's why they say the land of immigrants. That's just not true. Sorry. It will never be true when there's an indigenous class globally. So let's get into some books, shall we? Because we're talking about the impact of white lies show. Lies alter reality. When you alter reality, and when you change someone's reality, when you change who and what they actually are from an essential place, not allowing them to be, in charge or even in control of their own damn destiny. That's when people infringe upon other cultures to gain power and to supersede themselves above others with lies. So those lies have to be maintained by telling other lies, overlaying history, his story. They say history is told by the victors. But that's also Very perplexed. Because who said you won? When you take something, you have to maintain it and you have to upkeep it. And you never paid. See, you don't see when you practice when you practice slavery, you never want to bring up what you owe after that. Practicing it properly, bringing the humanitarian back into it, which is jubilee. Supposed to be every 50 years. You win 510 sessions, no jubilee. That's not how this thing works. So if we are being governed, or if we are, which I believe that we are, if we have a spirit, if you're a spiritual being, you know that you have a connection. If you have the ability to create, you must have a creator. You can call it what you want to. Atheists couldn't be atheists if they didn't really think about it. They may be Gnostic. See, I feel that there are a multitude of gods. I feel like we have free will in a good way to be gifted and exchanged with by the gods. Say I'm crazy. I don't. You don't know what you're talking about. You're crazy, Daddy. You're crazy. I'm moral, ethical, but I have my brain to think. I was built for a specific reason. That's why I have a brain to utilize. You should understand your legacy as well, my people. Yeah, understand that. So, by understanding things that are unseen, if you got F, spirit is another word for F. It's the unseen. So I don't use the terminology belief because I know. What I don't know, I don't know. I try to learn so that I can have some awareness of it. Doesn't make me perfect. It makes me intuitive. I hope you understand that. Anyway, but yeah, let's get to some more of this good old book here. Yeah, by Theodore G. Vincent. So this is a fabulous book here, man. This is an awesome piece of educated material that are actual events. So this is the Black business community. Check this out. We're gonna read you a couple of paragraphs out of this. Black capitalism never looked as promising as it did at the start of the Negro period. Black bankers looked forward to turning profits and their savings and laborers in the war industries. As blacks flocked to northern cities, enterprise black realtors made small fortunes in renting and selling as the newcomers, and by engaging in lucrative blockbusting, which is including a tactic of moving a black family and the extorting of neighboring races off a payoff to move them out again. Black hotels did a booming business on a new arrival, and there appears to be good prospects of service industry and catering to the black community. The hopes of the black capitalist in stating the selection from Fred Moore in his New York Age. In selecting B from the Messenger, Randolph argues that black capitalism is doomed to fail. The Messenger ran numbers and critiques on capitalism, all of which shared the heavy socialist polemical style. A third of the article exerted here that it omitted because it carried only standard anti-capitalist theories rather than dealing with a black economic issue. Still have that what remains is but broad theory. Section C, an excerpt from a two-part critique of black businesses in Chicago, in particular the business dealing with Joseph D. Bibb and A.C. McNeil on the Chicago Whip. The critique was written for the Messenger and Chandler Owen. The Whip was a notorious, maracking weekly and a noisy nose column providing an excellent chronicle of affairs in Garland, Chicago. In discussing some of these exposes, Owen alleged that Whip was accurately involved in cook dealings of his own. Owens was out to discredit the Whip because of his anti-union understanding and acceptance of advertising from the Pullman Company at the time of the company was engaging in a trade union suggesting with the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Portals, considering Owens' intriguing, of which debatable allegations, and is worth nothing that on most issues the whip took a militant stance. The whip had been outspoken of a denunciation of the hypocrisy of the World War. Edited Bibb was close in association of the civil rights activist William Monroe Trotter of Boston and was a prominent figure in the early years of the Garvey movement in Chicago. The most spectacular Bibb miraculous endeavors was of a campaign against his discriminating businesses operating in the Chicago ghetto. He obtained, with the help of street agitators, figured on a number of blacks working in Southside stores, also on a number of employed by major industries in the telephone and electric company. Discriminations of spelled out, or where it's possible, blacks urging without the patronage of the establishment. Why don't this don't buy where you can't work movement providing highly successful. Damn, you don't buy what you can't work. That's dope. You don't buy what you can't work. Yeah, man, let me take a little, give y'all a little break and give you a little understanding on this, from what you need to understand. We have been, in America, there has been strategic plans to keep everything that we would and could and can do successfully. It has been ripped from us, taken from us, and that gave us a lot of intuition and intuitiveness to kind of just do other things because we had to do these type of things to even survive. I hope you understand. I'm just saying hi to a couple of my folks up here in TikTok. What's happening, my peoples? What's going on? Appreciate you coming in. I appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you coming into the room. Just taking a little break from the read, just to let y'all know. You understand what I'm saying? So, in America, we have been forced to lie, explain ourselves, explain our story, try to garner some form of a understanding with the world, try to explain our situation or our plight or our perspective to the world. No one was our friends. I hope you understand that. So check it out. I want y'all to like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for tuning in to the Wilderness Podcast. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Now, my peoples, where you looking at me right now, I'm still going to be here. I want you to go like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you. Please do. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hey, the show got to stay on. So the faster I monetize, you got to watch my shows, watch my previous shows. The faster I monetize, the better, because I can do way more. Yeah, we got a TikTok shop. I ain't adding nothing yet because I got to do more. Getting everything set up for what I really have to do, and that's just do more. That's what has to happen. That's what has to happen. That's what happens when you got to have a business. You got to do more. So thank y'all. Thank y'all for thank you so much. I appreciate you. Salute to you, and thank you for the likes. I'm grateful so much. TikTok, y'all awesome, man. But check it out. Yeah. Let's get back to cooking with some more information. Damn right. We got to do that. So check it out. The reason why I bring up American Indians so much is because that's my actual specific lineage and DNA. My people have been in this country before anyone, before there was a Siberian, before there was a Caucasian. The people that existed here phenotypically look like this. I hope you really understand that. Those are the truths. Because the thing is, I don't have anything against Africa. I love Africa. I love all land masses, to be quite honest with you. They have their highs, their beauties, their wonders. Yeah, because we created all of them. So this is a beautiful planet. It just, unfortunately, some of us don't have a connection to where we are because we don't appreciate where we are. We'd rather go somewhere and take from someone else. You remember the guy Anthony Brundine, the guy that used to go around the nations talking about, the way food tastes and what people eat, and he would actually eat the food with them and things of this nature. And he looked around and he saw the beauty of these indigenous cultures, and other people will view these peoples and these cultures as poor or nothing, and just nothing. I think he understood and saw the beauty, the internal godly nature of those people, the wonderful beauty in them, the natural godliness of their nature, not even needing all of these, different apparatuses and instances to help you live a good life. Their life was simple. They understood how to basically what they cooked, what they ate, how they lived. They earned it all. And they was quite okay and happy with those situations. And some of the food that they ate was far more delicious and healthy than what we even eat right here in a so-called developed country. But when you have a government that manipulates every fabric and aspect of how you think your life, when you have agencies that are actually poisoning us, and you got people behind these actual constructs. So I know it sounds really crazy, but you got humans that hate humans. You got some humans that put themselves above other humans, thinking that, or no, they know better, but in their factual state of mind, they know on a level playing field, somebody couldn't compete. So you build an infrastructure that favors you, which is why you say things like black people have a low IQ. Man, that is impossibly incorrect. Your test is fabricated on a 500-year notion that what you say is law and order, and it's not even aligned with universal law or a human connection. It doesn't have a empathetic and sympathetic equation to it. There are no morals and ethics aligned with the dominant society's mindset and how they want to position themselves to think that they are some form of a moral authority when you have no morals, and your sense of authority is fake and limited and dying quickly because of your cynical lies. Understand that. See, when the deeper you dig in this planet, you're gonna understand that this complexion and darker and lighter, but darker specifically, will be the uncovering. Yeah, that's how that go. It's the light. I hope you understand that. I hope you understand and understand me well, because that's just the truth. Y'all gotta tune into the Wheelers podcast on YouTube. Please subscribe, share, watch on YouTube, because that's how we're gonna get those 4,000 watch hours. I'm over 3,000 now, but hey, I've only been on 6 months. I love my subscribers. Thank you guys so much. I love you too, TikTok. Thank you guys so much for what you do, and I'm so appreciative of you. We work and we do this work together. I'm so grateful that a lot of people are just being so, so real, and so they're coming out the woodwork for who they are and what they know. They're discovering so much about themselves, and I think it's a beautiful thing. People say I'm out here dropping jewels. I'm just telling you, if you can do just a smidget of what I've done, you will find another sense of value in you, for your children. You will be able to give these lessons to your children. Do you understand the value of how they value and know who they are, know their whole chronology as a child? That translates into a successful life. Because everything that you're telling that child, nothing's flawed. Nothing is flawed. Everything is the damn truth about them, and they get to, wait a minute, those the people I come from? Those are the giants? Those are the shoulders that I stand on? Yes, baby. Yeah, that's you. So I had few healthy discussions this weekend, talking about mainly one subject was really mostly about it was a Christian. He asked me, well, why would I not choose Jesus over my ancestors? I say, because my ancestors, they are part of me. I'm everything of them. I'm all of them combined in me. The more I know about them, the more how equipped I am to understand my future, how not to have generational curses, how to not make mistakes, how to lean forward into me to get the best outcome that I need for me and who I affect. The more you educate yourself about yourself, the more you understand how humble you need to be, how subtle you have to be. And practicing humility is a gift. But when the person that you are in conflict with, the best place you need is distance, because they don't value, respect, honor, or appreciate you. So you have to demand your respect by keeping your distance, your sanity, and always putting yourself in a position to improve your character, who you are, your stance, your fundamental and fertile ground. Keep that in hand. Keep that in mind. That's you. That's your nature. That's what you need to have within you at all times. That's the only way you get better. You have to know, just like when I was reading out of these voices of a black nation, a nation inside a nation. You understand? Nation inside a nation. That let you know that there was positionings. We rose above regardless, but the positionings against us in all 9 areas of activity. There were positionings, placings, and there were also a bunch of sellouts. A shit ton of sellouts, man. They got their wealth now. We got a lot of FBI agents out here. See, the Alpha Boys, man, their whole thing is seeing who doesn't have allegiance to this country. Their whole thing is who doesn't have who has rights to the land, or who can we snuff out? Where's the terrorism coming from? Where's the or where damn, some of their behaviors were just that. Yeah. Terrorism. Sure was. Yep, that's kind of how that went down. Let me put y'all right here so y'all can see me, so that I'm aligned with y'all. I gotta put your light right here. Wait, shit, man. It's just gonna be like this. That's the way it's gonna have to be, TikTok. I'll fuck with you, but goddamn. My positioning at my desk gotta change my stand, but we good. We rocking. So check it out, man. The reason why people suffer the way that they do is because they don't understand their internal marks, what makes them, what behavior. You know, some people, they like to fight and box, and they're very athletic, and they got the same things in them because their ancestors did them. You are your ancestors, specifically. So back to the conversations I was having. When you got your ancestors, you got to understand how many people that you're made up of. Is everybody good? No. It's up to you to overcome your internal issues. Nobody can fix that but you, because you are the only one that knows what they are. Come on now. Some people are meant to put things that you can understand how to connect with, but a lot of times you got to do the rest of the fucking work. Everybody can't do the work for you. You got to get your hands dirty. You got to participate in your conquest. I hope you understand me and understand me well. That's just what you have to fucking do. That's how it is. Sheesh. I will share another book with you, but I think you need to eat on that a little bit. Black Americans understood, whether from comedy, entertainment, understanding the value of scholarship, what to learn, who to learn it from, and when to apply it, and even where to apply it, and even who to tell. Because some people, you can't tell shit. You can't give pearls to swine. They'll use your words against you. They want to categorize you. They want to call you a specific liar. They want to tell you losing your goddamn mind. If you had one in the first place, you know how they do. Well, we understand who are the brainless children of the planet, thinking you can dominate the most undominated people on the planet, which are Black American Indians. The most dominant people on the planet. You really believe all of them stories that you tell yourself, don't you? Some people really think we didn't fight, but shit, like we didn't fight. Well, how do you explain recorded events like this? Huh? Explain this to me. We didn't fight back. What? So just because you heard Tariq Nasheed come out with the Maroons of Haiti, and you hear, the Maroons of Jamaica, do you understand the Seminoles, the Maroons of North America? Do you know the tribes, the Yamasee, the Mississippian, the Powhatan, Nansemond? Huh? Choctaw, Chickasaw, Natchez? Real Killers, Creeks, Red Sticks, Battle of Burnt Corn. My people participated in that one. Well, shit, every one of them. But that in particular was very close in time to me. My grandmama told me to research that one. Yeah. Who don't know who they are? You can't challenge me on shit because I know who I am, because I know who my mom and my daddy is, and I know who their mamas and their daddies is. I showed you and I told you that. I can't be challenged on knowing me. I know me better than anybody do. Depending on where you're from, I might know where you're from better than you. Much as I had to learn about me and mine. But mine are all over America. All over my mother, America. I hope you understand that. Okay? When you lie, you don't win. When you deceive, you don't win. I don't give a fuck how it look. I don't care how destitute it look. When your ass is a cheater, you can't win. Don't give a damn how much you done set your foot where. You cheated. You stole. You took. You raped. You lied. You deceived. You showed you had no fucking honor. No integrity. And no will to do right. Now you know we know. Now you know we know. Y'all see that? Y'all need to buy this book, man. This book is by Dr. Susan Dass. It's a hell of a book, too. I'm talking about who would tell the stories of those who refused to be slaves? Huh? The Atlantic slave trade transported millions of humans from the coast of West Africa into the New World, the Old World, that already had. This was mostly to the South. It was so copper-colored, many copper-colored black-ass people in North America of all shades. They ain't need to bring nobody here. They shipped some of us out of our damn homeland to Africa. Too unruly. Just wasn't having that shit. But some of these great researchers and great studies, they only told half of the story. Let me continue to reading this. Because some folks just refused to be a motherfucking slave. West Africans were very much so enslaved. They still docile now. Who's not docile? Nowhere. A man in his own goddamn nation. He don't give a fuck how many times you reclassify him. I know who I am. Ta-da, bitches. That's how I go. Anyway, let's go. Let me read this right here. The accepted notion that these blacks willingly submitted to the chattel slave system, accepting their new lot in life. When one scores the record, a different story emerges. These Africans were expatriates of urban metropolises and confederacies bound by constitutions and freedoms when Europe was still in the Dark Ages. Okay, And they brought these memories with them to the New World. The Black Rebellion chronicles an active resistance of Africans in the New World against their oppressors. These firsthand accounts reveal much that has been regulated in the traditional storytelling. But the thing is, you got to understand, there's a lot of blacks that came here from the Iberian Peninsula and from Algeria as well, Morocco, you know, them places, simply because they were cast out of their roles in Europe and in Spain, and they were the gods. They were the absolute iconic class all over Europe. They were cast out because they held what? Strict rules. They had morals and ethics. They bathed. They thought these people were fucking sorcerers because they were clean and a clean mind, clean thought, and they could do things. And they had certain special abilities of the old world, elixirs and things of that nature. Knowing that, so I mean, I know a lot of you people don't believe it, but how do you get all of these wizards and all of these fucking movies that they made? Do you think that came out of their brain or their brain housing group? No, it did the fuck not. That came from what they knew and what they were taught, and they know who the real masters, who the real sorcerers, who were the real fucking kings, but not just kings, the priests, the bishops, the knowers, the knowledge holders, the true skillsmen, the true people with the absolute skill sets of greatness. They knew how to carve. They knew how to. They were the smiths, locksmiths. Not just locksmith, metal. I mean, metal workers. Any type of goddamn part of civilization that require us to do anything. We were the best at it. You ever seen this book right here? Some of you ain't never seen this book before right here. Let me show you this. Black people invented everything. Uh-huh. Black people invented every damn thing. Black Americans made turkey. Black Egyptians made cats. Aboriginal people made dogs. Black people made animals. Check this out. Rats, cats, and dogs. Oh my. The origins of animal domestication. Even heard in eugenics. And it's a fancy word of the science of using selective breeding and produce to desired results, like dog owners do to produce pure breeds or new breeds. The goal is to produce a desirable population to eliminate undesirable ones. It was adopted by Hitler's during the Nazi era and by a few others minds in decades. The goal was recently always to get rid of dark people and to challenging white folks. Europeans were always really into this stuff, and the study exposedly goes back to the ancient Greeks, where the Spartans would breed their young warriors and kill off any babies who seemed weak. Yikes! But improving genetics does not have to do with involving smashing babies to rocks. Fortunately, our ancestors understood both genetics and ethics and spent more time making things that would help humanity than they did making monsters and viruses. To be clear, Mendel was late to the party. And the idea that we only recently learned how to selectively mate plants and animals is all wrong. In fact, we've known stuff for as long as we've known about sex. We use these mating methods to create the world's first genetically modified organisms like carrots several thousand years ago. Some of us saw a need in a local population using vitamin A, minus the bitter taste of a carrot, wild ancestors, and we bred them until Viola, we got what we needed. Yeah. So the original carrot was purple, white, black, and red, but rarely orange. These were unique and nutritious, dense like a whole meal. Once Europeans got a hold of them, they kept breeding them until the only kind dominated. Orange kind we're familiar with now. Only in recent years have people begun reinvestigating all the variety that we've lost as far back as humans were manipulating nature. Dorillis Dungy Houston says black people who were domesticating animals since time immemorable From the cow to the ox to the elephant, the lion, the eel, her brilliant 1926 work, wonderful, the work, wonderful Ethiopians in the ancient Kushite empire. She wrote, Donnelly points out that in the thousands of years since the domestication of animals, the historic nations of our times have tamed one bird. That pretty deep into the think about the modern Western civilization has domesticated much. Why not? Perhaps they weren't the pioneers of this science after all. Damn, do you understand that? I told you we did everything. Everything that can possibly be imagined to be done. We did it first. But hey, that's the show tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you appreciated the show. And I'm happy I'm back. So I will be back on tomorrow. Y'all, once again, give your prayers up to Dr. A.E. Give your prayers up to my man Tuffy Hernandez Hubbard. Give your prayers up to family members that are walking away and leaving this planet. And, just we just want to give a shout out to people that we love and the people that we want to make sure they okay. All right. So that's the show tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to holler at you guys. TikTok might be back on later, but give me a second. I got to chill out. Love you guys, and I'll holler at y'all in a minute. If you want to keep going, jump on to the YouTube. Will This Podcast on YouTube. Because this double backing is, go and jump over there. Jump over to YouTube. I'm getting up out of here. I appreciate y'all. Salute y'all. Love y'all. Thank you. Bye. Peace. YouTube, we still going. We're still going, YouTube. Excuse me. Hey, check it out. The wonderful part about reading books and understanding knowledge, understanding what we're supposed to do, is you have to understand and get very accustomed to building the best version of you. That's the show tonight. Love you guys. I appreciate you as well. But we done for the night. So check it out. It's favorite part of the show. I hope you love it. I hope you like it. But you know what it is. The will is yours. Peace. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.